Good afternoon and good evening to you guys. Welcome to the first edition of the week of the Full 100. Today is Monday, the 1st of March, and spring's on us, guys, and things are looking up. Guys, today's show, if you recall, I brought you guys the depopulation trilogy of videos, 1, 2, and 3. Those of you who saw that, it was revealed during my work on those videos, I guess, that the Orthodox Jewish community has a thing about vaccines, going back to the measles vaccines. Today's show is an update on two communities, which is the Orthodox Jew community, the progress they've made, and also the African American community and the progress they're making, which leaves just the one community now, abandoned and without help, and that's the African Caribbean or Afro-Caribbean community in the UK. So that's our serious topic of the day. However, I also have a natural, a freak of nature, basically, story, which is Skipper the dog, who was born in Ohio a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks back, with three pairs of legs, 6 legs, and 2 booties. So guys, without further ado, let's get down to today's show. Guys, so like I said, I brought you guys those videos. Now what's transpired, I'll just break it down before I go into the video. Basically what the Jewish community have done is exactly what the Muslim community did in one of those trilogy of videos. I brought you guys how basically the Muslim community are taking on their own, the Somalian community are taking on their own. They're putting out messages in their own native language. They're having meetings in mosques and also in Hindu temples. The Muslims have now called the vaccine halal vaccine. Can you imagine that? That's a big deal for a real Muslim to get past. If the imam tells them is halal, vaccine's okay, which I brought you, the imam himself, I showed you guys that on the video. This isn't hearsay. He said it himself. He told, and that was on one of my videos on the trilogy. I think it was in the part 2 of that video, of those videos. So the depopulation part 2. But the imam told his people this vaccine is halal. Now that's exactly what the Jewish community has done. The leaders, the political leaders in Israel approached the rabbis, the head of the Orthodox Jews in their homeland in Israel, and said, listen, we need your help. Your people are not taking this thing up. So apparently you're going to see from the video, they grilled some ministers. They spent 2.5 hours asking all the questions they wanted to ask. Then the rabbis took their time and thought it over. And then a couple of days later, apparently they came out and declared the thing safe. Since then, it's helped their community. All right, then I'm going to bring you a video of the African American community and the little progress they're making. 2 months back, I had the mayor of a city in Alabama who was skeptic fully. This video is going to show you in that time the work that the NAACP have done, the work that the responsible community have done over there is making a difference. That leaves us. It just leaves the black British Afro-Caribbean community in the UK helpless. There's no one helping that community. So we're not getting any leadership from the church, the black churches. We're getting no leadership, of course not, from the Nation of Islam, because they always go AWOL in matters like this anyway. They only come out when there's some profit to be had. And the political elements in the community, the TTIPs and everyone's AWOL. Everyone's taking the stance that, well, it's, but that, they're taking the stance that it's a choice. But that, you're going to see in my third video what that actually means on the ground. So guys, let me start with my first video. Take a look at what the Jewish community have managed to do with a very staunch fight against the vaccine, and how they're succeeding and how it's trickling down to make the work easier for the NHS here in the UK, in America and everywhere else where there are Orthodox Jews. Is making the work easier for them once that work was done in Israel. So they're now finding the work a lot easier. So take a look at my very first video, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
There seems to be hesitancy amongst young people. Your health minister has said that it is a moral duty for everybody to be vaccinated. What is the issue with hesitancy? And I mean, I guess you can't make it compulsory, but what are you trying to do to up the uptake right now?
So I think that at the very beginning, what we did, which worked very well, because it's the second half is always tougher than the first one, and the last quarter would be even tougher, I could imagine. What we've done, first of all, we had the approach of full transparency. When we came on TV, each one of us, we said things as they are. What we knew, we said we know. What we didn't know, we say we don't know. Where we had scientific evidence, we presented it. Where we weren't sure, we said we're not sure. And that helped establish a lot of support and trust by the public. Finally, a lot of culturally adopted outreach, which we've done to specific communities. And that's where we focus on now, because we have lower uptake in some of the ultra-Orthodox communities and a little lower uptake among some of the Arab-speaking communities. And what we've done to try to improve that was, for instance, to go to those communities, to work with the community leaders. I myself went to a rabbinical class, spent 2.5 hours in there. They were grilling me about everything that you can imagine, from vaccine safety to efficacy. They knew every bit in every paper that was published. And by 2.5 hours later, the chief rabbi that held that meeting said, I'm convinced it's effective, it's safe. And 1 week later, he gave a rabbinical verdict. And from that point, it became easier.
Okay. That's really interesting, because a lot of focus has been on the Orthodox community, and a rather large percentage of new cases are in your Orthodox community.
I want to thank Ran, because I worked with Hackney Council and, of course, my opposition colleagues, Diane Abbott, who's a Labour Member of Parliament, and we went to witness a couple of Saturdays ago the Haredi Hasidic community be vaccinated on Saturday night after 8:30 in the evening. And many of them said to me, because of the very senior rabbis in Israel coming out and declaring that this is the right thing to do, it's worked so well for us. So Ran, thank you very much for that support as well.
Welcome back, guys. I feel jealous. I feel like, I wish that was my community being helped right now. The authorities are putting out videos of Elton John. Who's that going to convince? Listen, the good news is, at least a wing of us have been sorted out to some degree. The African American community, from the reports I'm seeing, and this is just one example of it, but from the reports I'm seeing, that wall is coming down. But there's a lot of work being put in by the NAACP, and numerous, black officials, black mayors, black politicians, black community leaders. They're doing tremendous amount of work over there, because it's huge over there. I see no traction over it, and sadly that's the case with us here. So guys, take a look at my second video, which is the little bit of progress in the African American community. Take a look.
Before we go, we want to update you on a story that we ran Friday about distrust of the COVID vaccine around the country, according to polling, but specifically in the black majority community of Hobson City, Alabama. More than a third of those tested there in the surrounding county have tested positive for the virus. Yet many, including the mayor, told CNN they didn't trust the vaccine.
I'm reluctant to take the vaccine.
Wait, you yourself are reluctant to take
I am reluctant.
Today, we received this letter from Mayor McCrory, which reads in part, quote, the segment did not erase all of the fears the African-American community has in the medical community, but it has opened the door to begin having some much-needed conversations about African-Americans and health care that's long overdue. We hope these conversations will lead to saving lives, not only due to COVID-19, but saving lives in the future. I want to thank the mayor, and we hope so as well.
Welcome back, guys. I recorded that mayor who you saw in that clip back in January, early January, and she was proper anti-vaccine. She wasn't going to have it. She was a mayor. She was being told, like, aren't you meant to be helping your community? The progress she's made, see, from January till now, in that message she sent, and the reports I'm seeing, again, leaves me to really feel like we're alone. We're the only ones alone. You know, every community and every group, ethnic group are helping each other. You know, again, you know, it's sad because when I think of our black churches, when I think of the work they could be doing, what I'm hearing them say are things like the mark of the beast is the vaccine. Can you imagine if the rabbis said that to the people, what progress they would have made? Can you imagine because I'm sure the rabbis must have told them the vaccine's okay, kosher, which is their version of halal. Can you imagine if the Muslim leaders didn't call this halal? How many Muslim people would have taken this up? You know, we're not helping ourselves. And then the political leaders are sounding just like this Trump follower. Take a look.
You're saying that the strategy, if you were to be governor, is to expedite vaccinations, but you're not comfortable that the vaccine is safe?
So I believe that it's everyone's personal choice, whether, you know, it's,
sure,
it's
but
their
I mean,
choice. I've always
do you
been
believe
that
the
way.
vaccine works or not?
I'm not a scientist.
What are the other options other than vaccinations, in your view?
Well, I do believe that this virus is just it's gonna run its course, and people are gonna develop natural immunities to it.
So a herd immunity
vitamin
strategy
D,
of everyone.
Vitamin D. We can use supplements. There are a number of known doctors and scientists who have alternative methods. The hydroxychloroquine, for instance.
Hydroxychloroquine doesn't have an effect on the coronavirus.
So you're a scientist and you know this.
That's been proven by many, many studies.
Okay, well, I have many studies that show the opposite.
Chase's assertions are not rooted in science and are potentially dangerous. These views and others are why Virginia Republicans have been not so subtle about trying to sideline her candidacy. Several of her Republican colleagues in the state Senate voted with Democrats to censure her over a series of controversial comments and actions. And she unsuccessfully sued the party over their plan to select a gubernatorial nominee through a convention rather than a primary election.
Now, when I speak to community leaders and so-called political activists in my community, that's exactly how they sound. Try telling them they sound like right-wing fringe loonies and they won't accept it. But you can't keep pitching hydroxychloroquine. You know, you can't. I'm not saying I've heard the people I'm talking about mention hydroxychloroquine, but I know it's in the back of their minds. That's basically herd immunity. When you say to your community, oh, we stand for choice, then you have to be proactive. Because you might not want to take it, but put the work in. Do you think it will be beneficial to the community to stop deaths? Then put the work in. And that's what no one is doing within the black communities. And it really saddens me. Guys, I'm going to go to my last video now. And this is the Wonder Dog. On a lighter note, I wanted to finish on a lighter note, seeing as it's the first of the month, brand new month. We're coming up to spring. We're unlocking. Sorry, in a minute, not shutting down. So, guys, take a look at young Skipper, the dog, the Wonder Dog, who is half dog and half centipede. It's got 6 legs and 2 booties. Meet Skipper.
Speaking of dogs, in Oklahoma last week, a puppy was born. Maybe you saw this, with an extra pair of legs. She has 6 legs. Her name is Skipper. She's very cute. Skipper's a mixed breed. Her father was a collie. Her mother was a centipede, I think. And they're saying it is a miracle that Skipper survived. The vet said they haven't seen anything like this since Fly got into that machine with Jeff Goldblum. But Skipper's big news in Oklahoma, and legs aren't the only extra parts she has.
Weighing only 11 ounces, but she has 6 legs and 2 tails. Apparently, in addition to 2 tails, she has two booties, if you know what I'm talking about. Double the droppings.
The hollow laughter of a weirded out weatherman. So anyway, look out, mailman. Those new trucks had better be quick because the world's fastest dog is coming for you.
Welcome back, guys. We're at the end of the show now, the first show of the week. On Wednesday, we'll be addressing, remember Wednesday's the 3rd of March, and these lunatics think Donald Trump's coming back on the 4th of March and executions to follow on the 5th. So on Wednesday, we'll be addressing that and seeing where we are with the doom coming the very next day. So guys, look, you can't watch this without pressing hit and subscribe for me. If not for me, hit subscribe for Skipper the dog. He'll definitely appreciate your subscription. Okay guys, have a brilliant week and I'll see you all on Wednesday. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.